So there is another way to close up your little items, your little limbs. I like doing this on my arms, legs, and other bits that are sticking off the main body, while I do tend to prefer ladder stitch for the main body. And that is to use a whip stitch. So a whip stitch around the edge of a opening is not very difficult. I like to start by coming in between my two layers of fabric. That way I'm going to be able to hide my tail end of my string. So I'm going to do that, and then this little tail end can just get shoved right in there, and that's going to be hidden. And then I can just loop from the front to the back. Come on, go through. So you can see I've put my needle through the front to the back. Give that a good little tug and arrange it so that that's going over the top, like so. And then I just do the same thing again, from the front to the back, and arrange it. Oop, tiny little knot. Like so. And I'm going to repeat that stitch all the way across, and I'll be right back. All right, so here are all my whip stitches. You can see them just kind of closing up that top and going over that top edge right there. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, works out really, really simple. And this is actually also how I'm going to attach my pieces to my guy. I'm going to whip stitch them in place. Now, since I have a really long string still, I'm going to go ahead and just continue using this exact same piece of thread. I'm going to figure out about where I want him to attach. I want him to attach roughly this high up. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to just keep doing my whip stitching. And just to make it a little bit easier on myself, I am only going to go through probably one side of his right here. I'm going to start there, just continue where my previous whip stitch on his arm left off. And then I'm just going to continue whip stitching backwards. And if I really want to be fancy dancy, I'll go through the same hole that I had for my closing up my arm, and just come through like so.
I finished.
Go into the hole, into the hole. Technical difficulties, and by technical I mean not at all technical, but still. There we go. No, I just had it. All right, and through the magic of video editing, I'm now on my last stitch. So here I am. I've got my whip stitch going through to his front side. I'm going to go ahead and pull it. Since this is my last stitch, this is also where I'm going to knot it. So I'm going to pull this almost all the way through, and then I have this last little stitch loop right here, right there. And I'm going to pass my needle through this loop 1 time, 2 time. Get out of there, tongue. Go away. 1 time, 2 time. And when I pull this tight, that will automatically knot itself. Now I could just cut this off right here, but just like on the bottom of my little guy down here, I kind of want to hide this string. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plunge down into his body someplace very close by and exit his body just anywhere abouts. So I'm going to exit on his back. I'm going to make sure I don't accidentally snag his whole arm in this loop while I do this. But once I pull that in, I can pull this a little bit tight and then snip it with some scissors. And once it's snipped, it'll disappear back inside his body, and that string will no longer hang out. All right, so I'm going to attach his other arm, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to change his tongue a little bit to give it that little groove down the middle.